Okay, today we're playing a game on Dorado. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing Baguette the entire way through. And we are not on the console today, by the way, even though there's strange hieroglyphics underneath the icons. The email made it clear we are playing on the PC, we're just using a controller on it. There was a reason given, it is an acceptable one, don't worry. Our current team composition is Diva, Roadhog, Soldier 76, Hanzo, Moira, and Baguette. So, the really sad thing is the tank category right there, because first off, we don't have a Zarya, which is sad because we have a Hanzo. You know how good that is? Season 10. Season 10's over now, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm sorry to slap the microphone. Get out of my way, bitch. So, that's the first sad thing. But the other sad thing is Roadhog Diva is a really bad combo of tanks. Any combo of two off tanks is always going to be bad, but like Diva Roadhog, it's just like two people had to pick tanks, but they didn't want to pick tanks, so they're just gonna pick the ones that are basically DPS that have a lot of hit points, and hopefully no one's gonna point out that that's fucking terrible on a team comp level, you know. And then they get to have their fun while still conforming to the 2-2-2. It's okay, it's alright, it's not that bad, it's bad, don't do it. You gotta pick one of the main tanks, because two off tanks is always going to be sad. Roadhog and Diva also just have, like, no synergy with each other at all as far as tanks goes. They're like, I get, they're both trying to pick people, I guess, but, like, they've got no, they don't work well together. It's very, very bad. So the tank category is woefully upsetting. Now that I've complained about that, we're going to start the game. So we've got to defend Dorado. As we can see, Diva's off doing stupid shit. We do not have to come and stand with Diva while she's doing this. If your whole team is doing stupid shit, you have to come and do stupid shit with them. If it's only one person, though, just let the one person do stupid shit. You ain't got to come and stand with the one person who's making the mistake. We are standing, like, way too far up. We're trying to engage a fight, like, all the way over here. We want to fight under the bridge because that's like a hard choke point to get past, whereas fighting over here is way easier to get killed because there's this little flanking route they can take right here. We've got to stop, we just got shot in the skull. If we could stun the Hanzo before he disappears around the doorway, or around into the alley, that's great, but we're a little bit too far away to really make that happen, and then he's leaving. Mad greedy play. This whole thing that we've been doing over here is mad greedy in general, but that in particular was really greedy. It's just really easy to get like flanked and killed if you're standing over there, as well as it just not being as good of a choke point. And if you get in trouble, you have to go so far backwards to actually get to safety. It's very, very bad. We don't want to be standing that far up. Probably felt pressured into doing it because Diva was that far up. No need. Didn't have to do that. Shouldn't be standing over here right now. We're waiting for our team to regroup, which means we don't really want to be in the courtyard right now because we need to wait for our team to actually regroup. Because we just started walking at them like 2v6. I think somebody else was nearby. But like we were walking at them like desperate numbers disadvantage. We had to wait for our team to get back before we could actually go up and start contesting that. Patience is very important. Especially if you're playing a relatively slow hero like Baguette. So, that's gone. Sad days. Dorado is one of the better balanced maps, though. Like, it's not the end of the world if you lose the first checkpoint. We need to be back in, like, way the fuck up right now. Oh, God, yep, just turn and run. Oh, we did it. Oh, Moira wanted it, but she didn't get it. So, we don't want to go back through that way, because that way is, like, death. Like, look how unappealing that area is to walk through right now. But also think about how far we gotta go to get to safety. Oh my god, we gotta go so far. We gotta go halfway down the street. Oh god, so far. We should just, like, go left through the bank at this point, because going out this way is almost certain to get us killed. If we don't die, it's because the enemy team fucked up. And any play that revolves around the enemy team playing badly is itself a bad play. So we should not be doing that. We should just hook through the bank at that point. We should have been, like, backing up sooner as well in general, and then we never would have been in that position, but from that position we could have got out if we just went through the bank. So, mad staggers of happening. This is how snowballs happen, because they're halfway through the second checkpoint already, and we still haven't regrouped yet. Like, we're still regrouping as we speak. This is how snowballs happen. So we gotta wait. We shouldn't be going this far up, really, because there's only like 3 of us up here right now. We should be waiting for more people to arrive. But at this point, Diva's also going in to do this. Didn't quite manage to stun the Hanzo, but he died regardless, so that's cool. So we are, it's, I was gonna say we haven't really, we haven't really been playing Baguette this entire time, because really Baguette's about, like, finding somebody, like, bullying people, deciding who you want to take the fun away from, and then policing the shit out of that person's fun. But at the same time, we haven't really been playing with a team up until this point either, so that does make it difficult. So just stun the Winston right here, just to make sure he doesn't get away. He's unlikely to, but, like, just stun him so that he definitely doesn't get to use his jump before he gets away. He didn't get away, but the thing that's really strong about Brigitte is how disruptive she is in a team fight. So really, we're trying to use all of our cooldowns as often as possible, basically. So Moira's using Coalescence. We use Rally in response to such, which is fair enough. Basically, stops Coalescence from doing anything. The thing that's upsetting about it is just that it basically breaks even with Coalescence, and Rally's effect in a team fight is quite strong, because you're regenerating health on top of the healing that Brigitte's doing from Inspire, but Rally's giving you armor, which is better than health, so using Rally just to break even with Coalescence isn't, like, super exciting. I respect it. Push right up into the McCree's face so he can't shoot past you. It is a little scarier because it doesn't take so much effort for him to break his barrier with, like, one shot and kill you with the rest, but also, he's like, as soon as he sees you getting close, he's like, fuck, she's gonna stun me, and he's just gonna use it sooner than he would if Reinhardt pressed right up against him. So we got Storm Arrowed in the back of the skull. Feels bad, man. We're, like, really far up compared to everyone else, really. But we were, at the same time, bullying this man, so that's fair enough also. Just throw the armor pack on Diva before I didn't notice that before. Just throw the armor pack on her. She's not full health. She's going to be staying over there for a while. Just throw the armor pack on her before you leave. Just to try and make sure that she, like, doesn't die over there, if at all possible. Instead, we threw it on Soldier, who was way less important to throw it on right there, because Soldier was, like, not under any pressure at all, really. Yeah, Diva's in the area, but, like, our Diva could have gotten more out of it than Soldier could have. So we've managed to stall out their momentum, finally, which is cool, and now we can maybe actually start to play Brigitte. Now, we do know they have a Pharah at this point, which is very upsetting news, because there's not much Brigitte can do about that. You can try and kill the Pharah with a whip shot, and that's about it. Which, you know, it's more likely than it sounds. It's just kind of hard to hit her with it. Not as hard as it is to hit her with, like, Fire Strike, but, you know. So, they're staggering themselves. At this point, we come up and give Diva a bonk, but, like, it's pretty far up, but we can only see their 2 tanks. I'm not that bothered about it, but then we end up, like, ooh, pressing right into this boy. We can't, like, keep pushing into Hanzo right here. Like, the 2 tanks, they're not scary. Hanzo's scary, especially when he's using Storm Arrow. Like, as soon as you see Storm Arrow, that's when you put the shield up and just try to, like, stall it out. And then once he's done using Storm Arrow, you can try to kill him. Didn't manage to shield bash the Moira right there, which is a shame, because stunning Moira out of Coalescence is one of the more satisfying feelings in the game. Brigitte made Moira a lot less good because of how easy it is to interrupt Coalescence, which is a lot of why Moira is good, is how often you can use Coalescence. So Pharah was behind us, not much we can really do about that one. We've learned they have a Reaper now, so that's important information for us as Brigitte, because we are in charge of policing people's fun, particularly flankers. Reaper is likely to be doing some flanking. So we really need to try and figure out where Reaper is, and then keep tabs on him, and then we just bully the shit out of him. Reaper isn't scary to Brigitte, really, because the Reaper has to play pretty well to kill you. Here's what you do when you're fighting a Reaper as Brigitte, right? Like, you are massively in favor of winning versus the Reaper. unless the Reaper is like a god, basically, and uses his Wraith form really decisively. Here's what you do. You go up, and this is how you fight a lot of people, but like with Reaper in particular, you smack him, you stun him, you smack him again, you get a couple smacks in, he's going to shoot you somewhere during this period. Once he's shot you, if it takes off a decent amount of health, just hold the shield up to him, and then like back up a little bit. He has to, at that point, Wraith form through you to actually kill you, because he can't overtake you quickly enough to actually shoot past the shield. So you back up, you're regenerating behind the shield while you're backing away from him, and then if he just tries to walk after you, shooting you, he's not going to do anything. If he tries to Wraith form past you, you can still just turn and point the shield at him and then stun him again. So you just back up, wait for you to regen under the shield, and then smack him around again, stun him, all that stuff. It takes a while to do it, but the Reaper, he has to use Wraith form exceptionally well to actually kill you as Brigitte, and then he also has to aim well, also, because it's, he has to shoot you a fair few times to actually kill you, unless he gets one-shot in, that's all headshots, you know, which is the equalizer always with Reaper. But it's actually really easy. You just have to, what a lot of Brigitte players do is they just walk into the Reaper holding down left click, and then they get killed. Like, you're gonna get shot during it because Reaper takes a while to kill. And then you just turtle it out a little bit. And you can do that when you're fighting basically anybody. Once they hurt you, you can just hold the shield up and stall it out a little bit while you regen under the shield, and then start fighting them again. It's very hard, unless they can burst you to death, it's very hard for them to kill you. Brigitte's a very obnoxious duelist. There's very few heroes in the game that can kill Brigitte without Brigitte having to fuck up to make it happen. So we're in a really shitty position right now. Self-destruct over there. Can't turn to look at self-destruct or I'll die. And basically our whole team just kind of like got killed around us. I was talking about some nonsense at the time, so I'm not going to go back like 40 seconds to go over that one. But I was looking. Nothing egregious stood out. Here, we're going to get killed by the dragon. Shield Bash moves you. So we could turn right, Shield Bash, and probably get out of the way. We might get killed by somebody else, but it's better than just, like, getting killed by the dragon. You know, some chance is better than no chance. Like, we're not gonna hold on to this checkpoint, not to spoil the surprise or anything. I know you were looking at that fight like, oh god, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. I didn't need to pay for this whole ticket because I'm only using the edge of the seat right now. Could go either way. But no, we don't hold that checkpoint somehow. Then, you know, we end up getting caught in that spawn, which is unfortunate. You know, it's not as bad as getting caught on, like, Gibraltar's third or second spawn, but like it's not a good one to get caught on at the same time. Fortunately, McCree just killed both of their DPS with Deadeye right there, so that's really going to kill their momentum. They've only got a minute left, and it's actually quite hard to capture this checkpoint if you lose your momentum. So as long as we hold this point, or we hold it right now, things are looking pretty good. So we had to throw the armor kit on this boy first. We just try to throw the whip shot at him. You can't do anything else when you're whipping him. He's in critical health. We got to throw the armor pack on him first and then try to do anything else. You see our shield had 1 health on it right there? Look at that. Oh no, it broke. It broke. It just had 1 hit point because it actually did go on cooldown. It just said it had 1 hit point. Whatever. So, bunch of people are dead right now. We got Reaper in front of us, but Reaper, we didn't have Shield Bash. Why we use Shield Bash? What was Shield Bash? This is important because Reaper was like hanging around in front of us. And you know, we're trying to police his fun, as we established earlier. We tried to stun him and we didn't actually hit him. Unfortunate. Sad times. We did get build up rally, so we can just kind of like wade in and keep fighting, especially since Moira's also using Coalescence behind us. And we stun Winston. Winston's not that impactful to stun right now because everybody, like, the way the fight's going right now, Winston's doing no damage because Moira's using Coalescence, Rally's going, Inspire's going. He's doing no damage because Winston's a really low damage hero. Especially when everybody's got armor on them as well, right? Like, armor fucks Winston. So it would be more impactful to try and stun D.Va or just hold the stun to try and use on somebody else because Winston wasn't that exciting to stun. This is where the skill testing element of Brigitte comes in. Because Brigitte herself is quite easy to play, right? So it's all about, like, game sense and decisions making and using your cooldowns effectively. Because we want to use all of our cooldowns as often as possible, because all the cooldowns are really impactful abilities. But we are looking for the most important people to use it on at the time of the set as well. We aren't just using them for the sake of using them, right? Like, rather than stunning Winston, it's usually better to use Whip Shot on Winston, because then you push him away from the team fight, and he has to actually spend time re-engaging again, or he has to use his jump to get back in again, right? So that ends up being more disruptive to someone like Winston than stunning him. Because if you just stun him, well, he's still next to you, so when the half-second stun is over, he's there tasing you again. But if you whip shot him away, he has to actually get back to you again before he can actually take part in the fight. Stunning somebody, like Reaper is more impactful, because Reaper can feasibly be bursted to death before the stun ends, or he's going to end up having to use Wraith form to disengage from the fight, right? Like, he can't keep fighting. Winston probably gets to keep fighting after the stun has happened, so pushing him away is better. So this is where the difficulty comes in with Brigitte, is finding the most impactful people to use your abilities on, which is usually, like, if it's a short-range hero, pushing them away from the fight is really strong, because they have to spend time getting back to the fight again before they can actually do anything. And we want to stun people who do, like, high damage, or are easy to burst to death, because, like, you know, we stun Tracer, we just kill her before she gets to do anything else, right? This was actually something that was in the email. The email didn't have, like, explicit questions, really, but it had some things in it. And one of them was, looking for the exact words, I never know when to engage, who I can try to solo kill, and what combos I should be using. I also never know at what moment to use my ult. Since I've brought the email up, we're going to talk about these things now, you know, just to kind of fuck with the usual rhythm we have for this kind of thing. So, the reason I went to this was because of the combo thing specifically. Basically, whenever you're trying to fight anyone as Brigitte, ideally you go swing, stun, swing, whip shot. Or, like, whip again, then whip shot them. The idea is we're using whip shot to, like, kill them, ideally, in the event that we're comboing them, because it does burst damage, but it also can save the person at the same time. So we want to make sure we actually kill them with it. If we're trying to fight Tracer, all we have to do is go shield bash, whip, cancel into whip shot. So shield bash, left click, or melee attack, whip shot. And that just kills Tracer, straight up. Unless Tracer has armor, or somebody's healing the Tracer. That just kills Tracer, straight out. The trick is that you have to, like, whip shot right as the melee attack makes contact, or right after you hit with the melee attack, because otherwise she has time to recall away. But it's, like, it's really easy to kill Tracer. Someone like Genji, that doesn't kill them. You have to actually, like, get another attack in on the Genji to kill him. So it's like, ideally we go melee attack, shield bash, melee attack, whip shot, and that kills basically everybody. That's the idea is basically, if we can, we want to get a melee attack in before we use a cooldown, or two, because then we can cancel the remainder of the melee attack animation with the ability. But basically, like, the combo is usually used on Tracer, because she's the one that gets killed by it. If you're damage boosted, you do just enough damage to kill a 200 health hero as well. Or if they have Discord on them, you do enough damage also to kill them with the Tracer combo as well. But that's up. I have changed the scene accidentally to that one over there. I was trying to click on something and changed the background. So, who I can try to solo kill and when to engage. So, I encourage you to just try and kill whoever the fuck you think you have a reasonable chance of killing. Because Brigitte's a hero that benefits a lot from being played as aggressively as possible, because she's a very good bully hero, right? Like, she fucks people up. She's very hard to kill. She can duel basically any hero in the game, right? As long as she can get to them. So I encourage you, if you think you have a reasonable chance of solo killing somebody, just go for it. And you are going to fuck it up and you are going to die. But the important thing is that you learn from it, because The idea is, whenever you're trying to learn how to play a hero, or learning how to play a game in general, really, I guess, but when you're learning how to play a hero, I encourage you to play as aggressively as possible. Because, and you're gonna fuck it up, yeah, you're gonna die, but the idea is that as long as you're paying attention to how you died, and you're learning from your deaths, if you're playing really aggressively, you end up getting a really good understanding of what the limits of your hero are. Because what a lot of people do when they're trying to learn how to play a hero is they play really defensively instead, right? That's like, okay, you're probably not going to die, but you're also probably not being as impactful as you could be. You should be as aggressive as you possibly can so that you end up getting a really good feeling for what the upper limit of your hero is. You're going to fuck it up, you're going to die, you know, that's just how it is. But when you die, just go, alright, so why did I die right here? Could I have killed this person? Did I fuck it up? Or was this a bad decision? And, you know, this is the important thing to ask whenever a mistake happens. Ask yourself, was it a bad decision? Or was it a good decision and I just fucked up the execution? So whenever you die, being really aggressive, just decide, alright, was that too aggressive? Could I have feasibly done this and fucked it up? Or was this just too aggressive? And as long as you're asking that whenever you die, you'll end up getting a really good understanding of what you can get away with on your hero. So I encourage you to just try and solo kill whoever you think you have a reasonable chance of solo killing. Because the answer is, honestly, a lot more people than you think you can. People make a lot of mistakes, and Brigitte's really good at punishing mistakes. So just, if you think you have a chance, go for it. And if you fuck it up, just ask, why did I fuck up? And then as long as you're doing that, you'll know. You'll figure it out. Engage kind of ties into the same thing. Just engage whatever you think has a reasonable chance of working. And yeah, you're going to pick the wrong engages, but just ask yourself again, alright, was it a good engage and I fucked it up? Or was it a bad decision outright? And then you'll pick it up from there. When to use my ult. So Brigitte's ult, it's so this was a lot better before they nerfed it. You can use it just in anticipation of a team fight happening because, and this is really good if you have heroes on your team that have shields, so Symmetra, Zarya, and Zenyatta, because armor is put on underneath shields. So if a Zarya, Zenyatta, or a Symmetra are walking around with 100 extra armor under their shields, that makes them really fucking strong. Like, there's nothing worse than playing someone like Tracer, Genji, or Reaper, and then coming up to try and kill a Zenyatta, and you figure out the Zenyatta's got 300 fucking health. That is actually not feasible to kill the Zenyatta at that point, really, unless the Zenyatta fucks up. So, if you have a lot of heroes on your team with shields, this is a lot better, but you can just use it in anticipation of a team fight, and go, alright, we're going to have 100 health buffer going into the team fight. And if you have heroes with shields, that's a lot better because the armor's under their shields, so it doesn't get just shredded off by poke damage, right? Because that's the thing with using it before a team fight, is if the enemy team doesn't engage quickly and they just chip the armor off of everybody ahead of time, then your ult basically did nothing. But heroes with shields, you can't just chip the armor off of them before the team fight starts. And in the near future, we're very likely to see teams that are Symmetra, Zarya, and Zenyatta. Like, we're really likely to see teams like that in the near future. So, you know. Or just like, I guess it would just be Zarya, Symmetra if you're playing Brigitte. But, you know, you get the idea. We're really likely to see team comps that have a lot of shields on them in the near future. But the other way to use it is just in a team fight, because it just makes it a lot harder for people to kill you, because you've got Inspire going just from hitting people, and then Rally's going on top of that, so you're basically doubling your regen, or doubling your healing, but it's better than that because Rally is armor, which is better to heal than health is, because armor actually has damage reduction on it. So, it makes it really hard for people to... You're just doing a lot of healing in a team fight, especially if you have, like, another AoE healer on the team, like Moira. You're just doing a lot of healing, and it's very hard to die through that. So that's the more common reason to use Rally. It's just like, we're in a team fight, now I'm just going to pop Rally and just going to make it harder for our team to die. Or you can use it in advance to try and, like, in anticipation of a team fight, but I recommend just using it in a team fight, unless you have a lot of shields to put the armor under. Also some good positioning tips are welcome. Basically, Brigitte, so here's what you should do as Brigitte specifically, positioning-wise, is you should look at the enemy team and figure out whose fun you need to police, basically. So you figure out what the enemy team comp is, and what you're really looking for is, does the enemy team have flankers or divers? And if the answer to that is yes, they are the people you're trying to bully. So you then need to look at your team and think, who are they going to try and bully? So if we've got an Ana, they're going to be trying to bully the Ana. So we're hanging with the Ana to make sure that the flankers and divers don't get to kill Ana, basically. Or the backline in general. So we look at their team, then our team, and we decide, all right, do they have flankers? Yes, no. If they have flankers, who on our team are they going to try and bully around? If we're playing a dive comp, for example, there's no one really on our team for them to bully, so we don't have to worry about it so much. But if they have divers and we have people that they're going to be trying to dive on, we want to be trying to stop that from happening, basically. So we hang out with the backline and fuck up the flankers and the divers. If they don't have any flankers or divers, or they only have like one flanker, we just try and keep an eye out for the one flanker and hang out with the front line at that point. And then we just support the main tank instead. But we need to decide, do we support the backline or do we support the front line? And that affects how we position, because if we're supporting the backline, we have to stand further back, or we're not going to be close enough to them to actually protect them. Otherwise, we just stand up with the front line and make it easier for the tanks to get through, basically. We start bullying around their tank line instead, because Brigitte, you can just, you're standing behind your Reinhardt, you just walk up to their Reinhardt, bash, 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 just take his fun away for a second as well, that kind of thing. So, look at their team. Do they have flankers? Yes, no. If so, do I need to protect my team, or are they, capable of protecting themselves? And if no, hang out with your team, the backline, and protect them. If they can look after themselves, or they don't have any flankers, go support the front line instead. Just decide, do I need to support the back or the front? And then that decides how you're going to position. Engaging kind of ties into positioning, but again, I just encourage you to be as aggressive as possible, and you'll end up figuring it out over time. Yeah, you'll fuck it up, but you'll end up getting a better idea of what kind of fights you can engage on. Because, again, the answer is usually more than you think. The issue most people have, especially with aggressive heroes like Brigitte, is they're way too defensive in how they play. They're too afraid to do stuff. You can do a lot more stuff than you actually think you can. It's just people are too afraid of fucking up, I find. We've all seen there's no in-between the Reinhardt players. I would know. I play Reinhardt. They're either massive pussies that don't want to actually push through the gate, or they fucking love that shift key and they're just going to kill themselves every 2 seconds. I'm the latter. That's what I am. There is no in-between with Reinhardt players. So we figured out they have a Bastion. That's very scary, especially to us as Brigitte. At this, shield management isn't really a thing for Brigitte because your shield doesn't protect the entire team. But at this point, just let the shield regenerate. 150 health is so low, it's going to get broken in a decent shot as soon as you start fighting somebody. And also, if our shield is really low health, that makes it harder for us to shield bash people. And that's what we're trying to leverage as Brigitte, really, is our disruptive nature. So we can hear Bastion using a tank, and then we got shot in the fucking face by the tank. So feels bad, man. This is what I do like about Brigitte. A lot of people are saying Brigitte's unhealthy for the game. I disagree. I just think Brigitte's a role that we didn't have in the game up until previously, because Brigitte is a hardcore disruptor hero. That's what she's really good at, disrupting people. And we just haven't had that in Overwatch. We haven't had somebody that has really reliable crowd control or way to fuck up divers and stuff like that. McCree is the closest we've had until recently, but he wasn't that good. Brigitte's really good at being a disruptor. And the thing is, because that's a role that didn't exist in Overwatch until very recently, people just don't know how to play around it, basically. People aren't used to getting punished for their stupid decisions as often as they can be now. So I don't think that, looks like we just didn't realize where that was. That's happened to me. People just don't know how to play around Brigitte because she's an entirely, new role in Overwatch. They aren't used to getting punished for their mistakes. And this is the thing. I think overall, Overwatch is going in a better direction, balance-wise, because slowly, people are having to be more accountable for their own decisions, right? So, like, let's scale it back a bit, right? So, Mercy, right, when Res was really overpowered, that was really unhealthy for the game because it just made other people's mistakes not matter. At that point, it only mattered if the Mercy made a mistake, because if, like, Genji made a mistake, whatever. He's alive again now. If my team fucked up and got caught in the graviton, but I didn't, 5 people made a mistake, but I didn't make a mistake, so I erased that mistake, right? So it just removed accountability from a large part of the team because Mercy got to undo everything. And then, you know, Valkyrie, and then it was the same thing. Like, she could still undo 2 people's mistakes, right? Like, so DPS that, like, did stupid shit, or tanks that did stupid shit, they didn't get punished for it because Mercy made their mistake go away. Right? Then they've changed that, and that was massively better. And then a lot of people got a lot worse, because suddenly the Genji, it turns out the Genji was really bad, because the Mercy was making the Genji look a lot better by erasing a bunch of his mistakes, right? So suddenly, oh, the Genji player that didn't really know how to play the game smacked down a few levels, right? So now, Brigitte's the same thing, right? Like, you can play around Brigitte, it's just most people don't. Or they don't know how to do so, or they just don't want to, right? Because they're used to playing this way, where they can just, like, you could get away with some pretty outrageous positioning, especially as a lot of heroes, like, right? Like, Roadhog could do some pretty ridiculous things because of the massive buffer that Take a Breather gives you, right? Now, if the Roadhog's out of position and tries to run away using Take a Breather, fucking stop that, you bitch. You're gonna die for that because you did something stupid, right? People who were doing stupid shit didn't get punished for it. Now Brigitte punishes them for it. So suddenly, people actually have to be accountable for their own shit, and they don't like it. And that's why they say Brigitte's unhealthy for the game. I think Brigitte's perfectly fine for the game. It's just people don't know how to play around a hero that is actually disruptive, because we didn't have disruptive heroes in the game until very recently, because hard crowd control was difficult to find in general, much less reliable hard crowd control, right? Like, the sleep dart is hard crowd control, but is it reliable hard crowd control? Not really. Shield bash, now that's a fucking reliable hard crowd control right there. Y'all motherfuckers just don't know how to position. Y'all just doing stupid shit. Y'all fucking playing Genji, just dashing right up to the Mercy to pull the Dragon Blade out, and like, oh fuck, Brigitte's standing right next to the Mercy, so he actually just fucking killed me, didn't he? Whereas, what you should have done was been like, where's Brigitte? Oh, next to Mercy? I'm not going to jump on Mercy yet. I'm going to wait till Brigitte strays away a little bit, and then I'm going to go on Mercy. No, it's just like, oh, I'm here now. Oh, fuck, I'm dead. Shit. God damn it. Oh. Brigitte's fine. People are bad, is the moral of the story. So you'll also notice that we don't have that much time left on the second half of this video, so do we wreck them or do we get held, you know? You might be able to infer from how things have kind of been going already. So we do have Rally. Our combo of tanks is really bad again, because we've got Roadhog Zarya, so that's not really any better than the previous combo we had. Have captured the first checkpoint, hooray. They didn't actually come up and touch the checkpoint. They were really close to actually being able to hold on to that one, but they just didn't, basically. So we've come, like, really far up to start picking this fight, and, like, I'm okay with coming far up during this because the gate's opening behind us anyway. So we kind of have to, like, we might as well come and do something rather than just wait for the gate to open. But the thing is, we've got to be wary of Reinhardt, because Reinhardt's one of the people that can kill you pretty quickly, right? So, like, we come up and start trying to, like, hit the Bastion, but Reinhardt's just smacking us the whole time, and we end up dying to Reinhardt. Graviton even happens, but we don't actually get to do anything for the Graviton, which is sad. We gotta be wary of someone like Reinhardt, because Reinhardt will kill you pretty quickly as Brigitte. Unless you are focusing all of your efforts on the Reinhardt, in which case you will bully the Reinhardt to death, actually. Bad news, team. They've killed off our momentum, and our team are staggering themselves extremely hard. Like, we've been spawning in waves for a little while now. People were wounded again, and we used Whip Shot. It's better to use the armor pack before you use Whip Shot, because Whip Shot's animation is pretty long, actually. Like, you know, it's longer than you think it is. So, We actually were hiding from self-destruct as well, weren't we? Never mind, disregard. I was going to go back and say something, but because that's also happening, it made it not applicable. So, we are sort of winning this team fight. You know, it could be going better. This is a bad use of Shield Bash. 6 seconds is longer than it sounds. And we basically just used it to, like, get closer to the fight. Now we've gotten closer to the fight, but we're missing our most impactful ability, which is unhelpful, especially when there's people like Bastion in the vicinity, right? Don't use, like, Shield Bash just to get closer to the fight, because really you want to get into the fight and then be able to use Shield Bash. And using Shield Bash to get closer to the fight doesn't really get you there that much faster. So I'm going back here because of what their Reinhardt just did. He just Earth Shattered right there. That's like priority number 1, because he's about to use Charge. He used Charge, he killed Moira. We could have saved Moira's life really easily, because we could have just stunned him out of the charge and saved Moira's life. As we can see, the fight's still going pretty well in spite of that, but fucking up... It's really easy to fuck up Reinhardt as Brigitte. Especially, like, right after he's used Earth Shatter, because the most predictable creature in the world after he's used Earth Shatter, right? He's going to Fire Strike and charge, or just start swinging. You go up, you stun him, and if he starts, and then, like, you just push him away from the people on the ground as well, you can, like, murder a Reinhardt's Earth Shatter as long as you don't get hit by the Earth Shatter. But we just kind of didn't bother with it. We went to hit other people instead. And, I mean, we killed them, so that's cool, but we should have been more interested in protecting our team, rather than killing people. So we can hear Deadeye happening. I don't know where it is, really. It's got to be, like, somewhere over in that area. Missed him with the whip shot. Feels bad, man. We're fucked at this point. We've ended up in a really weird position. Why are we in the bank, really? Because we got, like, came over here from Deadeye. That's fair enough. But then we decided that we're going to try and come around the backside, which I don't support, really. We almost kill her, but she can just fade away afterwards, and now we're like, fucked. So, dipping into the bank to avoid Deadeye is fair enough. But then we, like, decided we were going to start trying to flank them, or some stuff. But the thing is, that's a giant open courtyard. They got a Bastion. What are we really going to do, right? We're better off just, like, ducking in to dodge Deadeye than coming back up behind the payload and trying to push forward again. Because the payload is the only way we're really going to get in there, right? Our tanks are a fucking terrible combination. We actually need, like, cover to really get anywhere, and that's what the payload gives us. So, self-destruct currently happening. I don't really like that we are backing away from it this way, because, like, we can block self-destruct for people who can't get out of the way, right? Because if we just, like, press right up against the self-destruct, that actually blocks, like, line of sight in a pretty long area, or large area, fucking hell. So, Genji, he realistically can probably get out of the way. Diva, she might struggle, however, to get out of the way. So I would rather, instead of doing this, we slowly rotate around this side to try and block it from hitting Diva. Now, if Diva doesn't work with us, we're not actually going to probably be able to block it for her, but I would rather we make an effort to do so rather than not trying at all, because as we can see, Diva dies as a result of that. And losing, like, your main tank is pretty bad, especially in this, like, really close to capturing the checkpoint situation. So I would prefer if we tried to save Diva, if nothing else, because she looked like she might not be able to get out of the way. If she had her shift, she could probably do it, just barely, but if she doesn't have her shift, she's got no hope at all, and we really don't want her to lose her mech in that position, because then we're left with Roadhog as our tank, right? So we should have tried, at least. You can block self-destruct for people. If it doesn't look like they can get out of the way, try and block it for them, at least. So, we haven't got that much time left. We got Rally. Diva's using self-destruct. Just pop Rally to make sure you get there in time. Honestly, we hear Deadeye. We don't quite turn over to face him in time. Sadness. Like, we can pop Rally, like, pretty far in advance, because it's a really long duration, just to, like, try and make sure we get back there. Like, don't pop it huge in advance. Like, it's not fucking Lucio speed boost, right? But once you're getting close to the payload, you can pop it in, like, advance and spend just, like, 3 or 4 seconds getting up to it. And it gets you there faster, and then you have Rally once you actually get there still. So, what's this boy do? Fair enough, honestly. It's my favorite thing about Reinhardt with Whole Hog, right? You just, like, the Roadhog presses right into the Reinhardt, and eventually it just reaches this point of critical mass where, the Reinhardt eventually the one shot just tips it over the edge, and Reinhardt, to the moon. I love that. That's cool. So I can't think of something that, an overarching thing that stood out, but we spent a lot of time talking about various aspects of Brigitte and the game at large, so, I think that's probably good enough. By the way, as for the reason you're using the controller, rather than mouse and keyboard, I have a similar issue. I understand. I use the mouse and keyboard still, but I have a similar issue, and I got to Masters, so don't worry about it too much, because it's the kind of thing I could imagine being somewhat I can imagine being concerned about. Don't worry about it. You can still be fine. Like, using the controller on PC is a little worse because other people are going to be using mouse and keyboard, but, like, it really doesn't matter that much, because if you know how to play the game, you know how to play the game, and that trumps all other things, really. So, if you are at all concerned about it, don't be concerned about it. It'll be fine. If you're good at the game, you're good at the game, and that's just how it is. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful.